If you wanna be bright-minded, there's just one place to go. When you're stuck at home and the time is ticking slow. Monday through Friday, live with Miley on my Instagram show. On my Instagram show. Stay lit, everybody. Good morning. Oh, bonjour. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Bright Minded Live with Miley. Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. PT to 12:30 p.m. PT. Bo wants to say good morning. Oh, how's everyone? Good morning. Hi, baby. Good morning. Good morning, everyone who just joined. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Bright Minded from Bo. Good morning and welcome from my boop boop. Okay, today is a very, very special day. This is the 14-year anniversary of Hannah Montana premiering, and I would not be sitting here right now talking with all 25,000 of you if it wasn't for that opportunity and for your loyalty throughout the year. So I just want to thank you all so much. It's a perfect episode, and it actually wasn't even planned this way, but my dad's going to be joining, so that is perfect timing. All right. So welcome to Bright Minded Live with Miley. Today, I have the most special guest of all, my family. This time has brought us together, not physically, because my parents and their parents are extremely vulnerable, and now learning that coronavirus has been attacking younger people as well, I avoid in-person quality time with my baby sister. So I'm really excited to be sharing how we have been connecting in this time of social distancing, because that's even meant staying away from my family right now, which is the longest, besides with touring or traveling. I usually see my family pretty much every day, so this is definitely different and hard. So we stay connected a lot of FaceTimes. My mama Tish, aka MT, is starting our morning with Motivational Mornings by MT. And my dad will be providing Daily Devotionals by Dad. And Noah will be talking about how she got so high that she saw Jesus. And to wrap the show, I will be talking to Stassi Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules about drama-encouraging reality TV and how we can use this entertainment as escapism, but also pulling back the curtain and discussing how much reality is actually a part of our beloved reality TV shows. Fights and stakes are heightened, sex and bad choices sensationalized and even encouraged or scripted by producers, which results in a spike in the ratings because we love that shit. But we have to choose very wisely what we put into our brains and not reenact what we see on TV, especially that type of behavior, which I like to do every time I watch Vanderpump. And there is a new episode tonight, which I will be watching, and I can't fucking wait for that. Also, to shine light on a very special event, March for Our Lives. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the march created by Stoneman Douglas High School shooting survivors. And I had the honor to perform the climb and participating at the march, which rallied together 200,000 people in the streets of DC to demand gun control. There's been a lot of progress, but there is a long way to go. And so to get involved, I'll also post this link after the show. Go to marchforourlives.com. Especially in the lead up to the election in November, they're doing incredible work. They're mobilizing young people to organize, vote, and make sure that policy reform is a key part of our country's agenda moving forward. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna dial in my mom for her very first Insta Live. This is her official Insta Live on my show. So Motivational Mornings by MT, connecting her in now. Bright-minded without technical problems is not bright-minded. We all know this. Good morning, Mom.
Hi, honey.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm trying to be very serious.
That's because my mom smoked a joint before the fucking episode.
No, just one little hit because I got so nervous because this seems like so official.
No, this isn't that official. We're just having fun.
Okay, perfect.
I inherited this way of thinking and believing and optimism from you. So Bright Minded really started with my mom and even your mom and even her mom, the way that she grew up. We inherit the way that we are. We talked yesterday about even when it comes to our animals or to us, like all living creatures, there's nature and then there's nurture. So there's how we're born, there's how we genetically are made, there's our DNA, but then there's also how we were nurtured and taken care of. And both of those create who we're going to be. Our youth has a lot to do with our adulthood. So your life from where it started to where you are now is totally opposite ends of the rainbow. You started on a little bit of a dark gray cloud and you ended at the pot of gold. And many people don't know this about you, but my mom was actually adopted. And so that can leave feelings in adulthood of feeling that you've been given up on. But she told me this morning that she wouldn't change it because she was adopted by my mammy, who was the most loving mother and only mother she would have ever wanted. They say that you don't choose your family, but in that case, it isn't true. A lot of us do actually choose our family. Blood relatives distance, themselves all the time, and you can create the family that you want, a family you love and that loves you back. So, Mom, can you walk us through how it feels to be adopted? Since I'm so close to you and Dad, it's really hard for me to understand.
Well, and it's so crazy, like how, close you are to Mammy and actually how you all even look alike. It's so crazy to me that, yes, I was adopted, and I just can't imagine my life being any different. I mean, she just is my mom, and my dad was my dad. And I could have never been more loved by anyone, even if it were birth parents. And I think for me, we're talking about like foundations, and for me today about faith. And I think that I really got that from Mammy. Like when I was told about being adopted, Mammy was just so adamant that like, she was like, Jesus handpicked you for me. And I just wanted a baby so bad, and I couldn't have my own. And when I got you, it just changed my world for the good. And so I think that, Mammy giving me that foundation and always telling me that God had just hand chosen me for her is why, like, I have always had such a deep faith. And I'm so glad that she instilled that into me.
So I also, I wanted to, we were talking about how Mammy said that she chose you. And, in the community, like even in the LGBTQ community, when kids, distance themselves or their parents distance themselves from them because they don't agree with their choices, or a lot of kids if they leave home early because of abusive relationships, they go and create families. They go and choose their mother. They get to choose their father. In drag, you have a drag mother. RuPaul is everyone's mother. So I love the idea that Mammy chose you, and I think people getting to understand that you really can choose your family. She chose you, and you would have chosen her. And you said that you inherited your faith from Mammy. So in your DNA, there are pieces of Mammy. We're talking about nature versus nurture. She nurtured you to become the identity that you are right now. So who you are developed because of the way that she was raising you. And Mammy, who I have tattooed on my arm, which when I showed her, I thought she would be very stoked about, but she told me her hair wasn't high enough and her nose is smaller in real life. So she wanted me to go in and make her hair higher. And if you guys can see, it pretty much goes from wrist to forearm. So I'm not really sure how you could get much higher the hair. But I know that we kind of got our like love for glamour and bejeweling and even interior design. Like you said, my grandma had a dress shop, so she was like always making clothes. She had a wig shop. So it's no surprise that I wore a wig from the time I was 11 years old. And so what else do you think besides just like your faith? What did you take from growing up with Mammy from the way that she nurtured you? Like, do you think what do you love because Mammy loved it too?
What I really learned from her is Mammy truly loves everyone. And I think that God is love, and God doesn't say the biggest commandment is love your neighbor, love everyone. And it doesn't say love this person if that, or if this person if they're not that way. He says love everyone. And for me, I think that's just how I've lived my life. And, I've learned a lot from you. I was raised up very, in beliefs that had rules and laws. And I just don't think that's true. And I think so for Mammy, learning that love is love no matter what, and to love everybody is the greatest thing I ever learned from her ever.
And I think that's really good for everyone watching to hear that, you know, my grandma's in her 80s, and not everyone that is, you know, old from an older generation, especially growing up in the South, has these, like what you said, these rules through their faith that you can't love everyone. Love is love. And I just think it's so beautiful when someone from geographically, you know, where she is from, like if we're talking about growing up in the country, in, you know, she was born in what, the 40s.
Yeah, she was born in 33.
Born in 33. So growing up in the 40s and being that progressive, I think that has a lot to do with my ideas of what I think is right, and what I think faith is, and what I believe love should look like or be. So that has a lot to do with Mammy also. So even though, you know, you're adopted, I am her granddaughter in every bit of the way that I am. People know me as being someone that loves everyone, that tries to sing songs like The Climb. And I don't think songs like that I would have even done if Mammy wasn't my grandmother. So it's just crazy how the family that you create has nothing to do with blood, and you can be just as of a kind of image of them, or like a reproduction of them, even if you're not actually
Absolutely.
genetically.
Mammy through and through, for sure.
So I wanted to ask you, Mom, before we wrap up, and I call Dad, I wanted to ask about your morning ritual, because I know you have a morning ritual, and I really wanted you to walk us through it. Because I think having a schedule right now in a time of uncertainty is really, really good. So if you can have one kind of to-do list, that would be amazing. So what's your morning ritual?
Well, I was so glad I got to come on today, because this is the first time I've washed my hair in like a lot of days.
I refuse to wash my hair.
But literally, like every day, our lives are so crazy, and I'm on the phone with so many people every day, and it's so hectic, you know, dealing with your stuff and Noah's stuff and my stuff. And so every morning, and I read this about 2 years ago, that it's really important to just have one quiet moment, and that can be 10 seconds. And so every morning, can you see my little thingy here?
Yep. Tilt the phone down just a little. Hold it up. Yeah, hold it near like your chin.
Let's see. There's my little plate. So every morning I light a candle, if I can get it lit.
If you can't light a candle and you can light a joint, there's a problem.
And I light some sage, because your dad has instilled a lot of different amazing prayers and beliefs in us. And so this is just to get rid of any negativity. And then I usually just say one little Bible verse, just that something is that's going on in my life. And for right now, it was really important for me to come on today and just know that there is a lot of fear out there, and a lot of change and things that we're not understanding. But for me, my one thing that I've been doing every day with my ritual is just to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I will lean on him and not on my own understanding, because I truly believe that God has given me a spirit, not of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. And so if I really start my day believing that I can do all three things with him beside me, and I believe that whatever comes out of this is going to be good. I know it's all like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. But we truly can choose to believe that no matter how bad it is going to get better. And there is so many good things coming out of this too that we're going to see. And that's just the skies are bluer, and in Venice, there's fish back in the canals, and we're connecting with each other on a deeper level. And so for me, just to actually be able to speak it and believe it and know that good is going to come from this is everything. So I hope you guys have your little ritual. You can start your little ritual and just every morning proclaim that we're going to be so much better when we come out of this.
I love that so much, Mom. So well spoken for someone that's so fucking high. I love you.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Bye, Mommy. Thank you. She is the queen. Okay, so now I am going to go on with my dad for Daily Devotionals with Dad. Let's see. This is my dad's first Insta Live, and he doesn't even have Wi-Fi at his house, so he had to go to my uncle and aunt's house. Guys, this is what a live show looks like. Sorry, y'all. It's like being at Lo-Fi Ellen. Okay, it is not letting me add my dad. BRB. That's my dog drinking. I can't believe I'm the one having technical difficulties.
How you doing, Bob?
Good morning, Dad. Look, come see your grandpappy. Come see your pappy. Look who's here with me.
Oh, wow.
Baby
Mr.
Bo.
Bojangles.
Mr. Bojangles. He's named Bo after my dad's high school nickname. Why did you get called Bo in high school?
You know, my dad just started calling me Bo. And then obviously then people started making it Bo Ray. And so some people call me Bo and some people call me Bo Ray.
And so is that why my Uncle Kevin's called Kibo? You were Bo and Kibo?
Yeah, that's Kibo. Matter of fact, you can see Kibo on the wall. See his picture up there, the black and white photograph?
My favorite Kibo story is right after Pappy passed away. Kibo came to my concert because I had a tour going on, which was really hard at that time. Remember, today is the 14-year anniversary of Hannah Montana premiering. And you and I are doing this today.
And it smells so lemony fresh everywhere. Remember that episode we had about, oh, it smells so lemony fresh.
Sweet niblets.
Let's sweeten it. There's sanitizer everywhere. And we're definitely,
so lemony fresh.
We are displaying social distancing to the max. We're about 1,800 miles away.
We are overachievers. That's the Cyrus family way.
Here we are. And I love the show. I watch every episode. It's so good. I learn from it. I did hear a few cuss words. Mother had the sharp tongue today, didn't she?
Mother always does. I was going to tell you my favorite story about Uncle Kibo is when I wrote the song called I Miss You about Pappy. And he came to my concert and we gave him very front row so Uncle Kibo could see the entire thing. And he showed up in overalls with no shirt underneath. Button real low.
Yeah, that's my brother. Uncle Mick's
inside.
Over here right now and the exact same thing.
You got it under your costume and yelling, "Sing it to me, baby!" so loud that over 14,000 kids, I could just hear Uncle Kibo over all the children's voices. I could hear Kibo the entire time. But our family has always been really close. I was saying this is kind of the farthest and longest we've kind of taken, being apart in a long time, especially you and Mama live so close. When I'm in Nashville, our farms are so close. And so I was talking about, with social distancing, how hard that is, even when it has to involve your family. And so I was doing this Motivationals with Mom this morning. And now I want to do a segment on my show called Devotionals by Dad. And somehow you just always know what to say in the time of crisis. And sometimes it can be a lot, and sometimes it's just something super simple that's easy and digestible that I can kind of play in my head as a mantra. So I remember calling you the night that really we started kind of understanding the seriousness of COVID-19. I started hearing a lot of rumors that were very, very scary, and started hearing more about the lockdown. And I started right-minded the next day because I called you and I was crying in fear and I had some dilemmas. And you told me that whatever choice I made, that was my path and that was okay with you. And I know many of the kids watching right now, they look for reassurance in their parents. And so by you just saying, "Stassi, wherever you go, there you are." That was very true, physically and spiritually. And just somehow that made me feel better. And besides, the more you stomp and shit, the more it stinks. What other words of wisdom do you have? And were these sayings that I now always can pull out and use? Are a lot of those inherited from Pappy? Did he make these up?
I don't know where he came up with the wisdom, but he was a very wise man. And in his wisdom, one time he said to me something that I feel like maybe I should say now.
Yeah.
The only thing I do know is I really don't know a whole lot. There's so much I don't know. And this is a time period in all of our lives where there seems to be more questions than answers. But a couple weeks ago, I was going to the studio and there was a church sign, and the church sign kind of stopped me in my tracks. I jumped out and took a picture of it, and the sign read, "Faith is a verb." And on this given day, I think that that's something that we could all take to heart. Faith is a verb. It's an action word. It's something that you have and you act upon it. It's an action word. And even though in this time right now where there are so many questions, trust me, I bet you I got up 3 or 4 times last night and just walked around the house in the darkness, and my mind will start spinning, and I'm thinking about so many people that have things a whole lot worse off than I have. And sometimes I feel a bit guilty that I might be worried so much or having such high anxiety when others maybe have things a whole lot tougher than I do. And in that moment last night, I said, just remember, Cyrus, faith is a verb, man. You got to have faith. You got to pull yourself together right now. And you got to be whatever it is you were put on this earth to be in this moment. You may have seen that here in Tennessee. I know you know about the destruction we had from the tornadoes a couple of weeks ago. Well, we're back under tornado watch again today. As a matter of fact, this moment that I speak to you in right now, we're in between storms. In a whole lot of ways, us as a society and all of the world, we're in between storms.
Yeah.
And in that moment of the storm is the best time to dig deep and find that faith and rely upon it.
I was reading some astrology last night where the moon and the cosmos are aligning. This hasn't been in this alignment since like 1500s. And we're actually in a shift of like a 2,000-year cycle. Apparently we're going into a new cycle of the next 2,000 years. It actually said that it started in 2012, which I definitely felt that cycle begin at that time. I don't know if you can really remember exactly 2012, but it was when, we had kind of just ended Hannah Montana, which is funny that now we're kind of celebrating the beginning, but we had just ended. And you and I didn't know what to really do with my life or my time because our schedules for 8 years were so filled. Every morning, same schedule, same ritual, 8 a.m. We knew we'd wrap at 6 p.m. We knew what our life was. And that's what I think a lot of the worry, anxiety, and fear is happening for so many people around the globe right now is because, some days we don't love to get up for work. Some days are harder than others, but it gives us a structure. It gives us an idea that we know what we're going to do today because it's routine. And so when you lose that routine, you can feel like you don't even know what to do with yourself, or feel like, for me, I didn't know my worth because so much of my worth and value was wrapped up in a character that I got to go and be 5 days a week and kids would enjoy, every night at home, that then I felt like I had less value because I wasn't contributing to that anymore. But apparently since, 2012 until now, and then actually it said that early on in January, I think they said January 12th was when this shift really locked in that we haven't had in, thousands of years. I want to know, did you feel that shift? Do you feel it now that you're so intuitive? Do you feel a shift and a change and a cleanse?
I feel a lot of things right now, and I do feel a great deal of anxiety. I feel a great deal of sadness, pain, suffering, but yet on the flip side of that, faith is a verb. I know that what we all have to do as human beings and individually, just speaking to an individual out there, listen to me. Thoughts are things. No matter what religion you study or what psychology you study, they all agree, philosophers, biblical, everyone agrees that everything in your world begins in your mind.
Yes.
And as a man thinketh in his heart and in his soul, so is he. Or Thomas Edison might say, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Both of those philosophies say the same thing. Your thoughts are seeds. And so what each of us wants to do right now, no matter what's going on in this crazy world, you think about what your goals are. You think about what your dreams are. You think about what your purpose is. And then you plant that seed in your mind and you chart a path and you take steps. Remember that success is the progressive realization of worthy ideas or goals, not necessarily the attainment of it, because let me tell you, when you get to the top, there's only one way to go, and that's down. So the fun part, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, all the greats that had said this to me at one time or another, that the fun part is the climb. You sang about it. The climb is the fun part. Once you get to the top, there's nowhere else to go but down. So enjoy the dream and know that failure is the most important ingredient for success.
I know the next part. By eliminating one way that one won't work, you're one step closer to the way that will.
You got it. That's amazing. That is
I told
amazing.
you I listened. These are all things that I can remember. And
You
when
know
I
what?
feel like I failed, I remember, well, now I know what not to do next time. I can't wait to try again because I know what not to do. So I am closer to the way that I will get what I am striving for.
Remember, life is a series of adjustments. It's exactly like trying to park your car in a parking space in a crowded downtown city. You find a parking space, you claim it as yours, you clarify in your mind, I'm going to back into the space, and then you start backing up, and then you might have to pull forward, then you might have to cut to the wheel to the left or the right, or go forward or backwards. But if you stay focused, barring an unforeseen catastrophe, you'll get your vehicle into the space. But it's a series of adjustments. Life is the exact same way. Persistence is the key. Persistence is not a very glorified word. It's not like glory. It's not like faith. Persistence is, a bunch of syllables and they're all jabbled up. But remember, persistence, it's not the force of a jackhammer that breaks the concrete. It's the repetition. Bam, 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 bam. Be a jackhammer. You keep on keeping on even when the doors are closed. You keep on knocking. And if nobody opens it, eventually you have to kick it down.
Dad, you are the best. I'm going to remember that so much about the jackhammer because sometimes I feel like you can try too hard where you lose the fun and the passion of it. When you start making music with the idea, I've actually had this, and I know you've had this in your career too. I've had people tell me, you got to go in the studio and write one more song. You need one more song to complete this album, and it's going to be the hit, and you got to write the hit. You can't go into a studio writing your biggest song. Look, it's laughable. It's funny.
You do not know how many times I've heard one more song. I've heard 10 more songs. I've heard start over. I've heard erase the whole thing. I mean, hey, but you know what? Here's the key. You make your music or you do your art for the love of it. That's the whole thing. You do it because that's what your passion is. Art is art. It can be seen as different ways. You do what you do because you love it. If somebody likes it, that's great. But you do it because you love it.
One more song will never end. It will continue. And so when you feel like you've told the story that you want to tell in that book, there's sagas. Your music and your album are sagas. So you can have, one album that tells a story as this first chapter. I mean, some of our favorite books, like whether it's Twilight or Hunger Games or whatever it is, there's like 10 of them to tell one story. And that's what an album is. That's why you put out these records, where you can tell your stories in chapters of your life.
Can I tell you one thing? This is so embarrassing. I've never told this before, but I'm going to tell it now because I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Do you know I've only read one book in my whole life? And
the Bible?
No, it's not. I wish it was, and that's the book that I need to read. If my Bible was as important as my Phone, I'd be golden. But here's the facts. I read one book, and it's called Think and Grow Rich by Earl Nightingale, Norman Vincent Peale. And it's the study and philosophy of setting and achieving your goals. They wanted to know, how do some people chart a course and say, I'm going to get from this continent all the way across this ocean to that other continent, to the other side. While some people can do that, other people's just go out into the sea and vacillate from one side to another, and the storms come, and pretty soon the waves overtake the ship and they all drown. And this book, Think and Grow Rich, a chiropractor in Flatwoods, Kentucky named Dr. H.B. Bailey stopped me as an 18-year-old kid. Actually, I stopped him. His car was on the side of the road, and I was late for work at Greenbow Lake State Park, and something told me to stop. I thought, that the old boy was having car problems. I stopped and I said, "You okay, sir?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I was just admiring this cattle." And then he said, "Are you Billy Ray Cyrus, Preacher Cyrus's grandson?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And we talked a little bit, and he said, "You know, you strike me as, how would you like to know the secret to be, have, or do anything you ever wanted to be in your life?" Well, at that time, I wanted to be Johnny Bench. Ironically, my hair was such a mess, I threw on this Cincinnati Reds ball cap to come down here and talk with you today, which I never planned on telling the story. So in some ways, maybe this is my full circle moment of being a Cincinnati Red and being Johnny Bench. But when Dr. Bailey said that to me, because I'd never had anything in my life, I'd never had any money, never had any success of anything, I think I was voted in our senior yearbook most likely to fail. I mean, when this man said to me, "How would you like to be able to know that whatever you think, you can do?" And that turned me on. And he told me that he set up an appointment at his chiropractor office, and I came in, and him and his wife handed me a book called Think and Grow Rich. And I didn't just read it, I memorized it page by page. And I would just sit and just memorize the philosophy. And again, a lot of it came from the Bible. A lot of it came from Thomas Edison. A lot of it came from great thinkers who had really figured out what life is. And it is that what you think in your mind are the seeds to what will manifest in your life. And that's my gift to everyone today. If somehow you can find that book, I highly advise not only reading it, but apply it. A good idea is only as good as its execution.
Dad, thank you so much for being on the show. I see so many people writing how much this is helping them, that they've been taking notes, that they're writing everything you're saying down. Actually, someone just said, "I'm starting a fan account for this iconic dad." And then someone wrote, "You don't need books. You are the book. You are the knowledge. I stand Billy Ray." So everyone is like writing down how much this meant to them. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. I mean, I inherited bright-minded, but, a healthy amount of optimism and reality. And, also when you know that things aren't just going to get magically better, you have to do something to make things get better. So go out and clean your beaches, pick up the trash, think about, how you're going to be accumulating products, whether it comes to not seeing plastic in the ocean, living responsibly and living with the idea that Mother Nature takes care of us. We have to take care of her. I think obviously if we could see one bright side of the devastation of this coronavirus right now is the videos that we're seeing of fish and dolphins back in Venice. We're seeing bluer skies. I mean, Mother Nature got a little sense of relief because for one time the humans, we're not just vomiting all of what we got to do onto her. The amount of flights that we take, trips that we take in our car daily to get to work. Mother Nature is getting to rest a little bit. And my respect for her and for everything that she, just kind of offers us for nothing in return. And actually, we've been spending so much, humanity has abused her in so many ways. And so just having you on the show, getting to talk about life and perspective, but also, like you said, you didn't just take the book. Taking the book wouldn't have gotten you to where you are. You had to read the book and you had to memorize it and apply it. And so applying the things that we learn without application, then you don't even need the information at all. It's useless to us. And so I think just for my fans to be able to apply what you said today, we loved having you on the show. Thank you so much, Dad. Thank you for being my dad. You've been the best dad ever, and thank you for giving me all these words of wisdom. I love you so much.
Don't make me cry. But you did mention Hannah Montana, and 14 years ago, I think we started that. Now, I'll leave you with a little pappyism,
Please
because
do.
my dad said to me, when my dad said, oddly, we just lost a legend, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
And what a great man. And but my dad said to me one time, he said, "Son," he said, "you're making all these records, but you're living and dying by radio, whether they play your song or not, or whether I can find your album at the record store." Remember when there used to be record stores?
Yeah.
It was called the record business.
Sign all of them.
Yeah, I know. So he said, "I think you need to have a career like Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton." And I said, "Well, I'd love that, Dad, but how do you do that? And he said, you got to branch out into acting. And I go, Dad, you know, I've never even been in a church play. I've never acted anything in my life. And he said, son, he said, I'm sure it's just like anything else. You just got to start. And sometimes when you look at your dream, it may look overwhelming or it may look like impossible. When you write something down, clarify it, you give it life. When you write down, I am going to be an actor, you give it life. When you go and take an acting lesson, or when you go to an audition and fail, you go and get hired. It doesn't matter. You start. Starting is the most important part of really, once you've clarified your goal, just start. You'll find your way down the path. Now, that being said, I got to leave you with one person who told me to tell you hello, and Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
How many times have we been entertained? That's a great one. How many times have we been entertained, laughed? And Tyler Perry has become my friend, and he so wanted to tell you hi. And he has this thing going around right now, and I was wondering if by chance you might join me in one little course of this, and maybe everyone can sing along with us. It's something you used to sing a whole lot as a little girl. So I'll start singing it, and if you feel like joining in, feel free. But it goes something like this. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 And then you used to sing, he's got Brandy and Trace in his hands. He's got Brandy and Trace in his hands. He's got Brandy and Trace in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us. Follow your dreams, live life to the fullest, be happy, and hopefully I'll see you here again. This has been a lot of fun.
I love you, Dad.
I learned more than anyone else learned. I love being here with you.
I love you, Dad. Thank you so
much. I love you.
I'm gonna call Noah now.
Look for me on the ball field. I'm going out for the Reds next year.
Love you,
I've clarified
Dad.
in my mind I'm going to be the first 59-year-old catcher ever to be drafted.
Well, as he thinketh, shall he do it. Bye, Dad.
I love you.
It's time to get on with Noah right now. She should be the easiest. She's Gen Z. They know how to do this thing, but I am not. So,
Queen.
This is what it's like having Gen Z on your show.
Effortless. That was
You're the only one that's been able to just like get on immediately. That's gonna be my youngest guest.
What's up, everybody? This has been the most entertaining morning I've had of quarantine so far.
Well, I was writing down that this is probably one of the earliest mornings you've had in a couple of years, besides just when you're doing like your crazy schedule with talk shows and all that. But you record in the studio so late at night that you have a whole night out.
Yeah, I usually like sleep till 2, go to bed at like 2 or 3. But like, I think with the quarantine, I've just been like staying inside, so I've gotten on more of a regular schedule. Like so everything that I like really wanted to do before and I'm doing now and we've gotten for weeks, you now realize like how good you have it, you know.
So, Noah, are you in a cave right now or like a witch's den?
Oh my God, are you in hell? I totally look like I'm in a witch's den. I have my magic potion cup and I'm next to my fire because I'm so cold. Do you not think it's so cold outside?
Noah, your set is iconic. It's lit.
Literally lit. And
like, you are everything to me. I actually have.
I do look like I'm in a cave. Have you seen my new puppy?
Let me see your puppy.
Marshall.
I am obsessed with Marshall. Is it because of Marshmallow?
Yes, so I could call the kids Marshmallow.
Well, speaking of new, you have a new song, which because I am pro, I have printed out Noah's art.
That is so nice. It's like being on Jimmy Fallon.
You know, but a little more lo-fi. So
I just screenshotted that.
Basically, a selfie of Noah in her home.
Oh my God.
This is Noah in her bedroom.
Yeah, this is me doing my rituals here at the fireplace.
So
And
this is
that's
my
just right
sister
outside
who
in
is
the
a complete
backyard.
baddie. Tell me just about this song, how it came about.
So I met kind of my writing partner because I feel like you can agree, like, it's nice to like finally like work with like just like one person that like you feel very comfortable with, and like you guys just kind of get into like a groove of writing a ton of songs so easily together. And PJ and I met each other in Bali, and he played me a chorus that he like had an idea for, and he was like, this came to me in a dream last night, and I just put it down, and I think we should work on it when we get home. And it took us about 3 months of, you know, the world being on fire, animals going extinct, people moving away from tradition. We really needed like this come to Jesus moment. This song isn't really made for one religion or one belief. It's not made for religion or belief. And if you want to take it in that way, you totally can. I know if you have a relationship and you're a Christian, raised Christian like we were, you know, and you have a relationship with God or whatever your belief system is, that's amazing. But you can take the song as you will. And the song's also about what you and Dad were talking about, Mother Earth, and us moving away from tradition. Is that positive or is that negative? We're killing the earth. We're not going to have any water to turn to wine. And there's so many messages within the song that's just like, we need to protect our earth and our mind and our health and have this like self-realization moment.
So the song is more about like, I guess, environmental activism and issues. You were definitely high as fuck when you wrote it.
That's what I was saying.
High as fuck when
Definitely,
you wrote it.
weed definitely helped get me to the mental state of what maybe brought me to the realization of what I need to speak about and what I need to maybe focus on more with my morals and the world that we live in now, like what we need to protect now with the earth. And so, you know, that's where PJ and I kind of started writing this record, because the world now more than ever needs us, especially Mother Nature, as you were talking about, which is why the music video is just so intact with the elements in the earth, is because I feel like now more than ever she needs us.
So, okay, I'm reading all these like comments at the bottom of the screen right now, and so many people are writing, Noah dropped the skincare routine.
Oh my God.
And they're talking about how you're just like so beautiful, and they love seeing you the way that you are right now, just like you're so unique and like your style
Your
and your
skin
health,
is glowing.
everything about you. What's up?
Your skin is glowing.
Well, I'm beat for the gods.
Are you? Because I was thinking you weren't.
I'm barely, but I got on a little.
You know, you're not beat.
I got on blush.
You look gorge.
Thank you. And I got my brows drawn on, you know?
I needed to be.
About in this quarantine, how it's been kind of really nice for me to have this show, because it just gives me some kind of self-worth, because the first couple of days, like, I wasn't getting out of bed, I wasn't showering, I wasn't brushing my teeth, I wasn't washing my face. And when I read those comments, I always think about, oh, there's so many times where you talk about like your insecurity and how you feel about yourself, and like on days where you're feeling more insecure or more anxious, or you're struggling with like, you know, just the enemy between your ears, which is like our brains, when it starts attacking us and looping. What do you do how do you stay, I know you're not like bright on the outside, but I mean, like, you're not like, you know, rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
But how do you stay positive?
You know, I definitely need like people like my family and people close to me that like I need to turn to sometimes, because there's a lot of really positive comments, but also I feel like my brain has just been flooded. And I know you more than a lot of people can understand, than people listening, because you and I grew up the same way, you and had so many people from the outside coming in. I don't know, I felt like so much negative stuff was kind of like put into my brain at such a young age. But you know, now I kind of have gotten to this point where I'm not living for other people, I'm just living for me, because I wasn't doing that before. And the second I started making choices that were just for my happiness, and that even started with maybe getting kind of some bad people out, that, you know, my family you especially may have like pointed out to me that some bad people might have been in my life that, you know, weren't a good example on me, that might have been hurting my mental health as well. It's hard to stay positive, but there's definitely ways of keeping your mind there and shifting it. And like for me, whenever I get anxiety, which is very often, like whenever I'm performing or go on a show or anything like that, I get really nervous about people taking photos of me or people watching it over and over again on the internet, because they're just going to have more things to say about me, my body, and my face. And that's more for me to read and start to believe. But the more that I like grow with my mental health and its strength, which I've been working on for about a year and a half now. And, you know, ever since I was staying at your house and you even introduced me to Dr. Amen, and then I found my doctors that work for me and everything like that, I started getting so much healthier. I realized the second my brain was healthier and I was taking the precautions for myself, I wasn't as hurt by all of the negative bullshit that I read every day. Everybody has this thing where they think I have anger towards our like situation of our family, and it's not that at all. Like you know, I just think growing up was very hard, and so that made it a little difficult, you know, with my self-confidence. People were just like a little harder on me growing up than I wish that I could have had, you know, if I was just a normal teenager growing up that just rode horses and was the equestrian that I was. You know, I wasn't really in the music industry or anything until I chose to, because that was just what I wanted to do, you know?
It's really hard for a lot of babies of the family. I think, you know, you're in a unique position that most of these people that are watching, 21,000 people or however many millions of people see this, can't really relate and understand exactly your situation because it's so unique and is very, very rare. But I mean, a lot of baby siblings, because you are the youngest, have this also with like older siblings that have already had their accomplishments because they're older than you. And so you feel like if you don't kind of meet those same goals, or like sometimes we kind of do what our older siblings will do. So like by having Brandy being equestrian, it really made you kind of want to like kind of fall into horses because it's what you were around. And then music being such a part of our family, but that happens like for families in all different ways.
I always use like basketball families as a good example. Like basketball dads, I feel like sometimes their sons, or even like Kobe and Gigi, they're such a good example. Gigi loved basketball, and that was like something that just went within their family and was in their blood, and that was like their amazing legacy that they had, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, using the basketball or sports families, that's actually a really good way to kind of compare it. I never really thought about it that way. So I wanted to ask you, let me see, I have a few questions just before we wrap up that I wanted
Oh my God, so official.
Not everyone is like quarantined or isolated with
a buddy.
With a buddy. So what do you do when you're lonely? What's a trick that you do if you're lonely?
You know what? I've tried harder at being okay with being alone, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like right now it's a good time to like, I don't know, read a book or listen to your favorite music, which that's what I do whenever I'm lonely, because I love music. If I'm not singing it, I feel like I'm kind of listening to it. Listen to your favorite artists or pick a good show, or like if you can, like during this quarantine, like if you can go into your backyard or whatever. I know it's really hard to like not to go outside without going outside, but just like the fresh air that I do get, like it's like, I won't lie, like I can't say that I've been super happy during the quarantine. It's hard for me. Like I wake up and I'm like, wow, I'm another day inside. I do get sad, but I think if we just focus on something that you were working on prior, keep working on that. Like keep your goals, like keep focused on your goals. Like I'm still working on my music, I'm still writing, I'm still doing, so whatever goals you were trying to pursue before, because I saw a funny meme actually that was like, did anyone else feel like they were getting their life together before this all happened? And I was like, wait, yeah, I totally felt that. Keep learning or keep doing whatever it is that you love, and like, because this is all going to be over soon, and we're all, and there is going to be the other side of this, and there is going to be a bright side of this. Isn't that the name of the show?
Bright-minded, but close.
Bright-minded.
Bright-sided, same thing.
Bright-sided. I thought I just did a good plug.
Well, Noah, I want to thank you so much. Since everyone's gonna have a lot of time to stream some music,
I love
or,
you.
Noah's new song, I Got So
I
High.
love you. I love you. I love you.
That's not about weed, and it's about the earth.
Or wait. However,
About
but
portrait of Noah in her bedroom.
of me right here. I actually just crawled in
Like,
the
literally. All right, I love you, Noah. Thank you so much. Thank you for
I love you so much.
Right, my kids.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
Bye. We are going to be talking to Stassi Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules. I'm going to connect her now.
Hello.
Hi, I have a very chatty family. Sorry that took so long.
No, I enjoyed watching it. I was like, oh my God, so much wisdom.
My
Jeez.
dad is so deep.
Yes, totally. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Listen, Miley, you're making me so cool right now. My sister has been messaging me and she's like, Miley is woman, Miley is God. I'm done. I can't get over this. You're officially cool. So thank you.
You are
for that.
making me the coolest person also because we are like counting down for tonight's episode. And is a pre-cap a thing? Like a recap, but a pre-cap? Is that a thing?
I mean, we're quarantined. Shit's weird. I think it should be a thing.
I actually am getting my next level basic on and I'm doing printouts. So I can,
Thank you.
I'm so excited about this. The Definitive Basic Bitch Handbook. I've been getting pretty basic in here with a lot of crafting, perfecting my eyebrow arch, deciding
It's
if I
great.
want more straight or more height. I want to talk to you about your book because this is a good time for people at home that feel like they have something to say to start writing their own book, even if it's just something that we're using Instagram as a tool you could maybe do. I was thinking it would be cool for someone to make a storybook, but it just be on your stories and you can read it like boom, 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 boom. So like a story a day or something like that.
Right.
So how do you start writing a book? Because I saw you doing it on the show and it looked really hard and like
It was hard as shit.
It looks hard.
So like writing up the proposal was like, I guess I would say probably the hardest part, like kind of organizing my thoughts. But it's all about like writing about what you know. And so when I thought about it, I was like, God, I'm so good at being a basic bitch and just like really embracing what I love. And I feel like that's the message that I want everyone to get from it. Even if you're not a basic bitch, it's really just about embracing what it is that you love and not being ashamed of it. So I feel like it's something that everyone can relate to.
I feel like there's times in life that like I would like to just kind of like calm my brain and like have some good basic things that I could do that are just like I could kind of like turn off and just like have some fun. So what are some things you've been doing now that we've been quarantining, like super basic things that people could do at home? I don't know if it's like cooking or what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied?
Oh my God, cooking is super basic and trendy right now. Everyone's learning how to do it on Instagram. It's like the thing. I tried once and that didn't really work out that well. So my fiance is cooking for me. That's how I'm dealing with it. I've been rewatching Real Housewives of New York City. Super basic.
Love it.
That's helped me. Decorating my home. Just like, honestly, like not feeling guilty about the fact that this is a time to relax and recharge your batteries, because when are we ever given a time where we're forced to just be, you know?
Yeah, I love the idea of rearranging your space. And so I was thinking about how you can take materials that you already have like in your house and you can give yourself a whole new space.
Yeah,
by
feng
just,
shui
like,
that shit.
Rearranging the shit that you already have.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's so much fun. Changes the mood, changes the energy.
This is really crazy. So when I was a kid, my mom had this really over-the-top shoe closet, but I was like a total bookworm. So I took all her shoes out and I turned it into my reading room, and I got all these plants and I put all these plants in there so I could hide behind the plants and read so my brothers and sisters wouldn't bug me. And so finding a place, even if it's your own closet, and like just putting something tiny in there and you go, now my closet is my reading space. Giving yourself new places, because we are stuck inside and every day can feel like they just start blending into each other if you don't move shit around. So I think the idea of rearranging your space is really cool.
I really like that too. I'm just concerned with your mom's shoes right now. Where'd they go?
I can tell you're already to your like, this kid was kept in a closet. It's always a little bad when I like would invite people over and I'm like, this is my bedroom. It used to be my mom's shoe closet. And like you can see people got like a little bit nervous. And as soon as I had my own space, I had a ton of tantrums as a kid. That shit stopped because I needed a place that was like my own. So the one thing that I wanted to ask you was, I'm obsessed with your show, and I'm like obsessed with reality TV, but it is drama encouraging, and I start really becoming, my boyfriend calls it conflict seeking after I watch Vanderpump, because I start trying to recreate my own version of it.
Oh my God.
So sometimes, you know, it's like we kind of like become what we fill our brain with. And so I then start trying to cause drama because it just looks so much fun on the show. I'm sure there's like a Stassi, Vanderpump Stassi, and then there's like a turned off at home, or is that like all the time? That's kind of how you are? Like, how do you draw the line?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I feel like, I mean, these are my actual real friends. So just because we film 3 months out of the year, I'm still around them 24/7 all year round. So
that's wild.
Yes, it is. And it kind of never truly ends. I felt like when people watch Vanderpump Rules, it just like drives them to drink more.
Actually, Amy Schumer was on the show, and she said she was really nervous for you guys to be sharing all the shop classes.
I saw that, and I felt like, well, I'm really concerned for the Real Housewives of New York. Like, can we check in on them?
Yeah, we got to check in on our beloved reality show characters. Everything is so heightened because, like, it is a form of entertainment. Do you guys ever, like, lose yourself and just forget, well, probably when you're wasted, but, like, forget that the cameras are there and then you watch an episode? Like, I do that with pictures where I'll be like, wait, I did what? So, like, do you ever see the episode and you're just like, oh, my God?
Yes, that's the worst. It's always when you get wasted. It's always when I'm drinking. I mean, I feel like I've forgotten that the cameras were there since like season 1. I got really used to it, and now it's been 8 years, so it's just like the way that our lives are. Every single time I turn on an episode, it's like I start like literally having the shakes, and I can't control it because who knows what they said when they were wasted.
I know. I would not be able like to deal. So I did have one night, you were like out of town. I think it was right when your book was out, maybe, that I went and had a party at Tom Tom.
You did. I'm so sad.
I went that night at Tom Tom, and it was so much fun. Lisa Vanderpump is a freaking genius because it was like going to Disneyland or something, because it's like when like little kids get to meet Ariel or something and they're freaking out. It was exactly like that, and it was like getting to be in the episode.
It's like Vanderpump Land when you go to Tom Tom.
It's totally Vanderpump Land, and she had the dog on the table, and everything about it was just how it was on the show. And so I just thought that was really cool because, you know, when I was doing Hannah Montana, the way that me and my dad's dynamic was on the show, and even the way I was with the friends, that's really how we were, even though we were scripted. So it was just really cool to see that it really is that way, and that even though there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of love. So, like, how's it going with you and your fiance being in a space where you're together, I'm guessing, a lot right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that we already are together all the time. We work together. He came on tour with me. Like, he's over there. I think what bothers me is like, I miss like going to the Grove and stuff like that. I mean, he can just walk into the other room and go play his video games if he wants to, you know?
Yeah. That's really good. I'm glad you got a little space, because I think that's what we all need right now. So even if it's your mom's shoe closet, or if it's
the shoe closet,
make a space of your own. I wanted to thank you so much for being on the show. You have so much
you.
advice. I'm gonna work on being more basic, and I'll send you photos of me doing it.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks, Miley.
See you
Bye.
on TV.
Bye.
And that was my show. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching Bright Minded. Another day, Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 PT, where we're staying lit in dark times. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and it is a very, very important show to me. It is Women's Wednesday. So I've got Reese Witherspoon, Hillary Duff. I'm going to be freaking out. Okay, we're talking about stans. I literally stan Hillary, like, deeply to my core. I'm going to be showing some pictures of me going to her concert when I was a little girl. Like, I'm just so excited for Hillary Duff. Then BB Rexa and Dua Lipa. We're going to be talking about being a woman in the music industry. So make sure you tune in tomorrow to Bright Minded Live with Miley for Women's Wednesday. See you there. Oh, it wouldn't be an episode of Bright Minded without me cueing my intro/outro. If you wanna be bright-minded, there's just one place to go.